Swinging and banging wins again. Derrick Lewis is just way too powerful, and Chris Daukaus put himself into a trap. Got trapped in the pocket with the Black Beast. Nobody survives Lewis in the pocket, no matter how good your defense is. Even at one point attempted to trade shots with him, something I've never would have thought anybody would do except maybe Francis Ngannou. Got put into a tight plum and Lewis started going to the body. Daukaus tried to brawl his way out of that position, and even though he landed 4 good punches on Lewis, it didn't even add up to one of Lewis's right hands. Lewis landed one right shovel hook that dazed Daukaus, enough for Lewis to land another one to put him out completely. And honestly, the cause of all of this was the respect of that power. Chris Daukaus wanted nothing to do with that right hand. Would even put himself into a corner, back himself into the cage, just to get away from it. But at the same time, when he does that, when he's backing away from Lewis the entire fight, he's ultimately going to meet that right hand. Because it's going to be about time where Derrick Lewis finds the opening for himself to explode for his power shots. You cannot cage yourself in with the Black Beast. But Chris Daukaus was showing to be the more technical fighter. He was landing a lot of low kicks and making sure he would mask those light kicks up behind something, whether it be reaching forward with his hands, a feint, a jab, just to get Lewis to pull away with his upper body, exposing his leg. Because when he didn't do this, when he actually faked a naked leg kick, he rotated his hips, making it look like he was going to throw a leg kick without setting it up. Derrick Lewis always bit on those feints. He always looked to attack because of that. He tried to counter with a switch high kick. The timing on that switch high kick was actually pretty silly from Lewis. I mean, it was shocking to see how well he timed that shot. But for the majority of the fight, Daukaus was throwing out a lot of feints. He was trying to measure and look for his openings, and most of these were working, getting Derrick Lewis to back up away from him. The issue with Chris Daukaus was he didn't have any constant pressure. It was only momentary pressure from individual actions, and then he would back away afterward. He would feint and Lewis would move back. He'll throw out his right hand or a left hook, and Lewis will again move back away from it. But Chris Daukaus is a smart fighter, and he does understand the opponent's game. He understands what Derrick Lewis is trying to do. Derrick Lewis is always looking to time your shots, measure for distance, because even though he's known for his power, his precision and timing are greatly underestimated. All the times he was able to time his counter shot and knock his opponent out, whether it be the perfectly timed uppercut against Curtis Blades' takedown, or the perfectly timed counter right overhand against Travis Brown, or the moment he found Alexander Volkov to plant himself in space in order for him to land his overhand right, Derrick Lewis is always looking to measure for his punches. He's not as brutish as people think he is. And even in this fight, every time he backed up, he was always looking to post. That post is measuring for his right hand. He missed it at one point in the fight after posting a few times. He was trying to measure his reach, and the time that Daukaus threw out his right hand, Lewis was trying to backstep away from posting in order to find a counter right shovel hook. Seeing that it fell short, Derrick Lewis commenced with his measuring off of his post. And before the final moment, where Derrick Lewis became aggressive and started barraging Chris Daukaus, a lot of people missed the timing on his switch high kick against Daukaus' fake low kick. Daukaus loaded up his hips by faking like he was going to throw a low kick. Lewis timed this after seeing it prior and threw up a switch high kick that seemed to have glanced aside of Daukaus' head and got him to back away from him. This moment is what got Derrick Lewis to overly pressure Chris Daukaus. And the moment Derrick Lewis knew he can advance forward and just start throwing his hands is when he saw that Daukaus overly respected his power. Lewis gave a slight feint, a changing of levels that Daukaus thought was going to be a big right hand. So Daukaus moved away, but look how fast he moves into the cage. He leaps away from Derrick Lewis, clearing the field, doesn't want anything to do with that right hand, and he hit the cage harder than he thought he was going to. This is when Derrick Lewis advanced forward heavily. He faked like he was going to throw another right hand, and Daukaus is looking to counter him with a check left hook. Seeing that Lewis's right shoulder rotated fully with no right hand coming at him, he knew right in that split second that he got tricked, he got played. Derrick Lewis threw out that feint, and Daukaus had to get defensive. He knew in that split second that Lewis was not throwing a right hand, he was throwing a left. But by that time, it was way too late. He attempted to block with both arms on that side, but the left hand was able to get through, and that's when the beginning of the end started to happen. The uppercuts and shovel hooks in the pocket were ultimately what Chris Daukaus was not able to get away from, and Derrick Lewis dispatched Chris Daukaus like he should have been the favorite in this fight. Lewis was the underdog going into this, and that may have surprised a lot of people. What's next for Derrick Lewis? I mean, it has to be Stipe Miocic. Nobody else really makes any kind of sense. Lewis beat the number 4 guy. He beat the number 5 guy. He never fought Rosenstrike, who's number 6. He just knocked out number 7, and he beat number 8, and he beat number 9. Stipe Miocic versus Derrick Lewis makes the most sense, but at the same time, Stipe does deserve a title shot against the winner of next month's heavyweight title fight. So I want to see Lewis versus Stipe, but we don't know if that's going to happen. It looks like Lewis is content with fighting anybody at this point. And as for Chris Daukaus, he's going to need to take some time off. He got knocked out cold in this one. When he comes back, I'm not mad at him versus Tai Tuivasa. That would be an excellent fight. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. If you did, make sure to give this a thumbs up. If you enjoyed my content, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.